Hey, hello everyone. I'm Professor McCoy. Welcome back to Fable 3. Let's jump right back into things, at least slow starting. I'm a little late, but I'm a little bit earlier than I said I'd be, so I'll wait. Trickle in. Forgive the potential noise in the background. Kids might be up and at 'em and some things that shouldn't be doing, but you know how it goes. Alright, I have extra 500. That's fine. Enough to make up any difference I need to make. Let's see if I've got side quests. There are. Quest, no quests. Order. Just the guy who wants me to kill for him. Not. Could buy a bunch of properties, but market is just some evil quests and a crazy one. Yet, this one. Yeah. You know what? Let's go to that. Let's do that. Let's chase down an escaped convict. I want to apologize again, as I mentioned.
Greetings, Your Majesty.
I mentioned on Saturday. I've got a bit of a cold.
Good to see you. There's another fugitive we need bringing in. Fancy the job?
And I'll be trying to mute while I cough.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
But I am going to be sniffling a little bit, and my voice is a little bit lower. So if it's not loud enough for the game, let me know. I'll tweak some settings if need be. Where is this criminal scum? Also, my voice will sound weird, for which again, apologize.
Ah, it's our mighty king.
I'm at your command.
I trust you're well, sir.
Take it.
For king and country.
Let's see, where's this vial?
Hello.
Lurking in alleyways? Is it that guy? Is it you? Hey. Hey!
Of course. Where to? You're not going to take me alive, copper. Oh, all right then, just this once. Yes. Let's go somewhere good.
Excuse me? Where do you think we're going? To jail.
We're owned by a real adventurer, so you know our goods are good.
Let me go. I swear I'm innocent.
Why would I believe you? Either way, I will decide that later. I am the king, after all. I am going to be passing judgment on whether directly or indirectly. Or I will, or my appointed magistrates, presumably.
Oh, I get my hand back, do I? Well, that's neighbourly of you. No, not back to jail. I hate it in there, especially the food.
Look at that. You've collared the most famous pie thief in Albion. Bakers everywhere will rest easy tonight. A fine job, thank you. I'll let you know if we need your help again.
Fascinating. Alright, cool. Glad I could help. Alright, let's see what else we can. I have that mini game to do in Morningwood. And another mini game to do in Millfield. You know what? Yeah, let's do this one real quick. Why not? Let's do the Wheel of Misfortune. Beaver's Old Manor.
Your Majesty.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait and see how I do on going through till midnight with the cold and cough. I'm medicated a bit, We'll have to wait. Alright, let's do this. There are a few things I do want to talk about, one of which is it's closely related to this game, but that something else is really rough to my mind. And something that is just in the news, so I'll yap about that once the audience builds up a tiny bit. Swing a thing. Let's do it.
Welcome to Reaver's Wheel of Misfortune. Great rewards await you if you can but win at my little game. We ask that losers decompose quickly.
And what will you fight today?
Let's see.
It's the wolf round.
I think this is always the
Please
same order, isn't it?
proceed to the arena.
The arena. I think I'm just gonna, since it's wolves, I think I'm just gonna
Let the first round
probably just
begin.
spam magic. Yeah, that's working fine.
Round complete. Please
Not
return
bad.
to the main chamber via the nearest exit. Thank you.
Not bad. Hey Grace, how are you? I'm still a bit under the weather, unfortunately. That is the worst of it, really. Otherwise, I'm doing quite well.
Silencio! The Ville, she's about to speak. It's the mercenary round.
The mercenary.
Please proceed to the arena.
His little uwu voice is really unsettling.
Let the round commence.
That was some kind of fire.
It's all right, folks. We'll send his payment to his widow, won't we, Reaver?
No! It was the fire in my heart.
Why can't you fight an honest fight?
We've never lost a fight. Do you know? The arse hell was that? Using fire? Just cheat.
With more grace this time, if you will. This is not a common slaughterhouse.
Is bloody setting things on fire? We're gonna kill you anyway, so why not do the decent thing?
Round
Round complete. Please
All right,
return to the main chamber via the nearest exit. Thank you.
Ah, Rose is there again. Oh. Hello. Or as you were. Either way.
Let's spin the wheel. It's the hob round. Please proceed to the arena.
Hob time. This world's version of goblin
Let the
dwarves.
round commence. Ooh, I bet that stings something fierce. That hob is dead, ladies and gentlemen. He is deceased. He is no more. He has shuffled off this mortal coil. The little critter got a good one in there. Go on, little fella. Give him a good smack. The hobs are getting some good hits in now. Round complete.
Yeah,
Please
it was less
return
good.
to the main chamber via the nearest exit. Thank you.
That was less good, but I can do it. Ooh, we have George now as well. Ooh. That a treat.
What will the Wheel of Misfortune really save this time?
Only thing better than hanging out with a cat
It's
is
the
hanging
Hollow
out with
Man
multiple
round.
cats.
Please
Yeah,
proceed
that's
to
quite
the
right.
arena.
It's still nice. Still an improvement. Okay, so a couple of things I wanted to be on about tonight. One, I want to talk
Let the round
about
commence.
what I find to be absolutely hilarious. Anthony Fauci, who apparently left a big old incriminating diary, which is, I guess, something you do if you're people with a psychopath. But anyway, these new revelations about Anthony Fauci's
From a corpse. How
diary.
embarrassing.
And I mean that literally. Like he kept a diary of his various perjuries.
Our fearless rebels are in serious trouble now. It's a Hollow Man massacre.
Hi, Ensign. How you doing? But yeah, it's this. It is a something that Rand Paul recently released. Through the HHS. So this was through his former office. This is nothing like. This isn't like he got access to like personal files or whatever. This was something that he had on official record, which I find even funnier.
Have some pride in your appearance.
Anyway, the various revelations of it are all stuff that we already knew, right? At least sensible people already knew. But have yet to be officially confirmed until now.
Round complete. Please return to the main chamber via the nearest exit. Thank you.
But anyway, that's one of the things I want to talk about. I do want to go into a little bit of detail. The other thing I want to talk about is a common fantasy trope.
It's the sand
referred to as
fury
medieval
round.
stasis, and it's something that I think
Proceed
this
to the
game,
arena.
this game in particular, or I guess really this started with Fable 2, but this series kind of goes awry with. Or maybe you can say it's a trope that this series avoids.
Let
Really
the round commence.
want to say that? Yes. Excuse me. Yeah, this is the round where spell spamming is doing a lot of work for me. Just because they approach cautiously and there's a few of them.
Round complete.
Woo!
Please return to the main chamber
got-
via the nearest exit. Thank you.
I got way more than half of my points from that round alone. I got 351,000. If you can't read this, chat over it. 351,000 from just this round. That's insane. So yeah. There we go.
Silencio! The ville!
wait,
She's
there's
about
more?
to speak!
I think there's more.
Creature bundle.
Okie dokie.
Let the final round commence.
I'm gonna dance on your entrails! This is all you've got, then?
Oh, got me good. All right.
Have to do better than that.
Sorry, I'm a little focused. I'm not reading the chat. I will get back to you guys.
Well done. Final round complete.
Whew, that wasn't bad.
Congratulations on
not bad.
completing Reaver's Wheel of Misfortune. We find you
Godlike. Hey, Weaver, you think anyone will actually get this perfect score ever?
Perhaps, if someone of sufficient skill and complete lack of a social life comes along.
I got a Reaver portrait. I don't want a Reaver portrait. Okay, Dead Ned Revolver. Okay, second-rate bandit thief who held up an order. Ironically, he was a much better thief than death. Eventually, his shooting hand fell off. Harriet Thatcher was the first and so far only female guard in Bowerstone. Didn't play by the book, but damn it, she got the job done. I want to see the high scores. Oh, we got the... Wow, did we get the high score? We blew past the high. That's incredible. Book read 2 p.m. Jeez. Okay, I can do that once in a while. Though I did sleep until like, I don't know, 11:30 today. If it were up to me, and the children would let it happen, I would definitely sleep in bed.
My dear Reaver, you're a sallow-faced, peanut-brained jackanapes. Yours sincerely, Arthur.
Excuse me. Anyway, so going back a little bit. Grace said, yeah, it seems common to political figures and their those under the institutions they control. It shocks me that not that Fauci had one, but that it had incriminating. Honestly, that does surprise me. I would think that people wouldn't do that. Like, when you commit serious crimes, like, it's best not to write down how and when you did it. I don't know. That just seems like bad planning to me. Maybe that's just me. Yeah, I just think different. Imsim says, I honestly think many political figures from the last few years will end up in prison in the future. Nah. I doubt it. If Hillary Clinton wasn't even prosecuted under Trump's first term, I don't think anything like that is gonna. I'm color me skeptical. I don't think it's. Let's go do this one. Another criminal grab. Now there is a chance that my only question about Fauci is whether he's capable of suffering the ego death necessary to go on the stand before Congress and openly admit that everything that he wrote in his diary, and that he lied before Congress for years while he has those pardons. Because again, if that preemptive pardon holds, that stands up to legal scrutiny, still questionable. Even if it does, we've got this issue where he kind of is legally required to admit that he's brought before Congress. Because if he says, no, I stand by what I said, I wasn't lying then, given that it's demonstrable that he was lying, or given his own affirmations elsewhere, then he just perjures himself now. So he has to, legally speaking, he kind of has to admit that he has been lying all along. Now, my real question is, does he have the humility necessary to do that? And I don't think so, but especially based on the fact that he wrote this, like, comically self-aggrandizing diary talking about how much of a celebrity he was and how much people admired him and everyone loves him, how much of a hero he was. He was Dr. Truth Science, whatever. Like, absolutely not. Like, I do not think that he can even bring himself to admit even to himself that he, let alone admit in front of Congress, in front of Rand Paul, who's been his, like, nemesis for half a decade now, and in front of the American people who he thought loved him so much, I don't think he can admit that he was that he lied. But I honestly think there's a good chance he just perjures himself again tomorrow. We'll wait and see. But I think it would be. I think there's a real chance that he gets himself into legal trouble like that.
Majesty.
Which would be unbelievably stupid, and it would be an absolute unforced error on his part. There's no reason for him to perjure himself at this point. He could just blatantly, openly admit, "Hey, I lied about everything. Nothing we could do about that now."
I'm at your command.
He could absolutely do that. I don't think he's going to.
Ah, hello.
I think there's a real chance that he screws himself over in the Senate hearing. And I really hope so. I would love to see the man go to prison for the rest of his life. And I'm really torn between hoping that that the rest of his life is as long as painful as possible and
When you need to attack
uncomfortable
a
in
target
prison.
from a great distance and
It
don't
possibly
mind
can be.
sacrificing firing speed, a rifle is ideal.
Or on the other hand, maybe just maybe, can actually be justly executed. I don't think that would. And check out this new one, Dirty Harriet. What's it do? Vector, drag 10 criminals to jail. Ooh, 30 damn. 150 human enemies with flourishes. Compared to what I have, what do I have? Actually, let's check this one. 30 items, 200 flourishes, 40 no.
Pistols fire quickly and cause
It's the one I have now,
respectable
right?
amount of
What's this
damage
do?
among those who
Socialite.
respect such
Guild
things.
seals faster in combat. Guild seals faster in combat. Hey, might keep this one. It looks better anyway. I'm gonna keep this one. Grace says, I doubt he's going to recant what he wrote, but also not one that he will change his testimony or story. Going to, but yeah, it's like he's likely to perjure himself. Yeah, not sadly. I'm thrilled to see it. Nothing would make me happier than to, at least with respect to actually, I can't say that. There are plenty of things that would make me happier with respect to COVID than to see Anthony Fauci go to jail. Like to see everyone involved go to jail. That'd make me even more happy. But I would love to see him rot in prison. But like I said, I'm not sure which I would like more, to see him rot in prison for a long, long life ahead of him and live another 20, 30 years behind bars in public shame, or, you know, the unlikely but glorious possibility of just execute. There's options.
At your orders, sir. At your service, my king.
Yeah, he's probably, yeah, no, you're right. He is probably kicking himself for not incinerating in the diary. Yeah.
My king.
Attention!
At your command.
I mean, that's how criminals always are. When they leave a piece of incriminating evidence, they're always
Your Majesty.
How good
there's always
to see
regret
you.
there, I think. Certainly.
Welcome to...
What? Finished this one. I'm working on gnomes. Oh, this is the herbs. Okay. Gibzip said, I've been having weird dreams the last few days. Up every other hour. Tough dreams can be reason. It can be. According to Aquinas, demons can influence our dreams. I think he's probably right about that. No, I have no reason to think of. Ray says it's, I say sadly because it's sad he's supposedly smart, but he went with stupid shit guidance. wrote down a diary of his thoughts on what he was doing and couldn't insert it before it could become an issue in a legal case. I mean, it would be great if I don't know, I guess a relatively intelligent mind such as his could be put to good use. It would be great if he were not evil.
How are you
But
this fine day,
given
sir?
that,
How are you,
sure,
Your
maybe he
Majesty?
is intelligent, given that he's also an evil psychopath, and one of the most egotistical men on the planet, again, from these diaries, like competing with Trump, which is saying something.
Well met, my lord. Hello.
It's
My lord.
We're a far cry from saying, "Ah, well, if only he had just used his knowledge for good." It would be wonderful, but a hell of a stretch.
Today you decide on the status of the Brightwall Academy, Your Majesty.
Good.
Samuel will speak for the town and its scholars. Reva will dispute his cause.
You may speak.
Live right next door to it. I'm opening it. Okay.
Your Majesty, it was your father who opened the doors to Albion's greatest seat of learning. Under his rule, knowledge and culture flourished, and so did the people of Brightwall. I ask only that you return to the wisdom of those days. Your brother closed the academy down, but it is in your hands to restore it.
There is no greater proponent of the arts than myself, and I celebrate knowledge in all its forms.
How about that?
Our people are frightened and confused. The last thing they need is knowledge. Allow them the benefit of ignorance. Let only those who are truly prepared make use of the academy. The elite of our society will pay handsomely to indulge in erudition.
But only the rich will be able to afford to learn.
Precisely. Why give wisdom away when one can charge for it?
What do you wish to do, Your Majesty?
Well, obviously I'm keeping the promise, but okay, so that last case really just Reaver's last comment there really just that gets me.
You wish to rule over an enlightened populace.
Is this idea of charging for not just knowledge but wisdom, which is distinct from charging for teaching.
If the
That's the kind of thing that really rubbed me the wrong way. That's
pay for that privilege?
Frankly, that's why I don't paywall content. Particularly educational content. I refuse to ever paywall at least my course material that I've already recorded.
Deny your people the chance to learn and grow.
Because it requires no flavor for me, so
to the
it's already
kingdom's
done.
future.
So I will allow that to be utilized. That's knowledge. That's wisdom. That should be
Don't be
fair. No
blinded
reason
by
not to.
romantic ideals. Knowledge is power.
Yeah, that's a
And
romantic
power
ideal, meaning
is
an
not
ethical
a thing
way.
to be
Shut up.
handed out freely.
The Brightwall Academy will be open to all who wish to learn.
The Brightwall Academy shall be reopened, and Albion will once again have a free center of learning.
Oh, thank you, Your Majesty. This is the start of a new day for us all.
Very well. I will make the arrangements at once.
God, you can't see her, but the woman in my here. Look at this. Look at this lady. Her like weird noodle arms and her completely frozen wobble presence. Just tripping me out, man. Anyway. Yeah, Grace says many smart people are also evil, but usually the smartest of them hide their evil better. The fact that he left this evidence is stupid. Well, maybe, yeah, true, but also, first of all, evil makes you stupid, right? Sin makes you stupid. It dulls the intellect. It's one of the effects of sin. It's one of the effects of turning away from God and from the good. But beyond that, I don't even know if it's necessarily just stupidity. I think a lot of it is ego. Because again, I think he's more than anything, he's a narcissist. Actually. So this is him thinking that, well, on the one hand, he's smarter. He's so smart, he must be smarter than anyone else, and no one's going to be able to outsmart him. But then also, he really does think that that the lies he was telling were putting him on the right side of history, and I think he believed his lies. I really don't think he was. I think that he enjoyed seeing himself as a hero. Not because he was pulling the wool over people's eyes and deceiving them, but because he thought he was doing the right thing at the time. Which, I mean, as C.S. Lewis pointed out, are the most dangerous villains, are the ones who think of themselves as heroes. The constant moral busybodies, as he called them. Because they torment us with the approval of their own conscience, as he said. Which again, I think is what we have here. But then that turned up even further by the fact that it's not just that he has the approval of his own conscience, it's that because he has the approval of his own conscience, because he sees himself as not only as admired, but as rightly admired, that nothing could stop him. At least at the time. Until something did, which God. Yes. Thank you, Grace. I'm glad that you're learning from some of this. So that's wonderful. Wonderful to hear. Yeah, I think I'm bad at monetization. I'm a poor businessman, frankly. To be fair, to be a bit brutal to myself. I'd like to come up with a good business model for monetizing this stuff better than just relying on YouTube memberships. But that said, if you have gain from this, I certainly would welcome any donations. Ko-Fi. It goes for anybody that way. That said, if I wind up coming up with a more better monetization model, I will, even if you're not interested or capable of joining into it, I'll certainly take an endorsement. In any case, excuse me. I do think that educators can certainly be paid, frankly, just like I think artists would be. It would have to be something more like on commission. It would be pay for time, labor, and expertise, rather than paid for the knowledge or content. Because that's the kind of thing that can be shared freely, and to refuse to share it freely is to hoard it. I'll use the example that the Pope used, recent encyclical, of a candle. Wow, that's really blowing up my camera, but whatever, you get the idea. Right, so I have a candle, and so this is a nice little, I just happen to have a candle over here, and I've got a match. Then this is another candle, I guess, for sake of argument. If I light this from the candle, it cost, so there we go, it cost the candle nothing. This is the sort of go-to thought experiment, for example, for the righteousness of sharing non-scarce goods like information. It costs nothing to share. I'll actually put a link to an article from Jeffrey Tucker. In the notes, not the chat, in the description, and in Discord afterwards, on something to do with this, on the sharing of knowledge and wisdom, and even salvation. But yeah, it's something that I feel quite strongly about, think quite strongly about as well. Reaver, yes, to answer your question from a few minutes ago, Reaver was also, yes, the person who wanted to turn an orphanage. Good guy. Oh, no thanks. Glad you liked the SSPX schism take. Yeah, I thought that was a useful perspective, and I'm glad I kind of brought it all the way back to the Old Testament at that podcast episode. Because I was what brought this up was I happened to be listening to the Bible in a Year podcast, and we're just getting past the Divided Kingdom period and the end of the Book of Kings and into in that, and we were just getting through that part when the announcement of the SSPX schism happened. And so that kind of clicked in my mind. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, this is interesting, because the Northern Kingdom of Israel was absolutely right to be upset by the unjust kings of Judah in Jerusalem, but were absolutely unjustified in splitting away from God's kingdom, the people of God. But yeah, again, I think that wound up being one of those happenstantial little, or maybe even providential little coincidences. Coincidences in the sense that they coincided, not in the they and relatively revelatory. Yeah, I would say the same for Protestants. I would say the same for Orthodox. I would say. Yeah, Grace, feel free to rewatch it. I mean, all of my stuff is still up. I don't take anything down. At least not voluntarily.
Stimulate your intellect in the newly reopened Brightwall Academy. Suckle the knowledge from the land's greatest minds and avail yourself of the best library ever assembled. Everyone, from the most impoverished genius to the wealthiest idiot, is welcome. Brightwall Academy. Whatever you earn, it's the place to learn.
He is really salty about that. My audio's cutting out? Oh, shoot.
The court summons
Did it just start, or has it been doing this?
Reaver. The matter before you today is the future of Bower Lake. Reaver will offer his proposal. Page will stand against him.
You may speak.
Your Majesty, a recent survey of Bower Lake has found that the waterbed is rich in valuable metals. Now, as amusing as it would be to make workers hold their breath as they mine these resources, I fear it would be impractical. Instead, we have no choice but to dam the river and drain the lake of all water. Once that is done, we will have a ready-made quarry, ripe for the plucking.
I'm kind of open to this.
It will be a pity to disfigure the landscape so close to my former home, but it is a sensible course of action in light of our current needs.
Bower Lake is the last piece of natural beauty remaining in Bowerstone. It belongs to our history and should be protected. Don't take it away from us. You'll be taking away part of this city's soul with it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Now that we've finally freed the people of this city, are we going to destroy the one place they can find peace?
The decision is yours to make, Your Majesty.
No, this is silly. We're going to drain the lake.
Page is right. We must protect our natural resources. Bower Lake is to be left untouched.
The king has ruled.
Huzzah.
Bower Lake's natural beauty is hereby protected by order of the crown.
Thank you. Let's show the world Albion is worth defending.
Is a pretty view worth more than a treasury full of gold? I bow to your greater wisdom.
No thanks, says my understanding is it's about two things: Latin masses and ecumenism, relationship with other religions. Sort of. There. I think. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember exactly what the issues were with the specific objections to the documents of Vatican II. I think there's 3 objections, if I remember it correctly. And I could actually be a little bit wrong about this, so someone feel free to correct me if One is the liturgy, where they argue that the Novus Ordo, as it is practiced, is not just inferior, but downright illegitimate, and therefore invalid. Which, arguing that the majority of Catholic masses around the world are not masses is, I mean, that's obviously outrightly schismatic, so there we go. The other two, you could, I think, rightly, I think you could reasonably at least categorize as relationship with other religions. One is the statements, the conciliar statements on religious freedom, and the conciliar statements on what you might call pluralism, or at least what they would call pluralism, right? So the religious freedom point is that they hold that that error has no rights. Therefore, the right to worship incorrectly is not a true right, and so that there is nothing wrong with compelled membership within the true religion. Conciliary means statements of the council, formal statements by the documents of Vatican II. And so they hold that that the Vatican II statements concerning religious freedom, that we have a that. Be careful stating this, because there's controversy surrounding this. Silly, but there is controversy. But that there's a negative right not to be interfered with in practicing even a false religion. Now, there are traditionalist defenders of Vatican II who will argue that this is distinct from a positive right to practice a false religion, and that there is no such right. I argue that is a useless distinction. That there is no such distinction that we can sensibly make, at least under anything like legal theory. That positive right and that negative right correspond. They correspond one-to-one perfectly. That to say that you have a positive right to falsely worship is to say that there is no right for someone else to stop you. In other words, you have a negative right to be free from religious persecution. Right, so I argue those are the same thing, and if you argue that those are the same thing, you can take the position that, yeah, that's all true, or you can take the SSPX position, which, no, that's all false. And because there is a right that the state has, or that the church has, or that somebody has, to stop false worship, then that means there is no positive right to false worship. Right? But anyway, there's more or less three positions on this matter, like there are on any matter concerning there's the positive and negative rights correspond, yes, so that you have both. There's the positive and negative rights correspond, and therefore no, you don't. Or there's the positive and negative rights diverge. You have one but not the other. Then we have a duty to correct them, to evangelize them. Yes. Now, this is also something that they argue is denied by Vatican II. The SSPX argues that that certain documents from Vatican II, especially, when was it? Fraticelli? No. One of them. Excuse me. It's the one that addresses God's special relationship with Jewish people. I forget what the document is called. It's that one though. The SSPX argue that one contains language which implies that that not just Jews, but that other religions as well have distinct ways of rightly approaching God, or that maybe even more charitably, that that people of other faiths can rightly approach or can rightly be saved through their false religion, which would be a denial, they argue, of the classical doctrine of extra ecclesiam nulla salus. No one is saved outside the church. Nostra aetate, yes, thank you. Nostra aetate. Yes, that is correct. Why did it translate that in my window? That's weird. But yeah, Nostra aetate. But yes, that is the objection that they have, which I think is again, there's two ways to take this. One, you can argue that they're wrong and that there is such a path to God through other religions, which would be heretical. So let's not do that. Or you can argue that no, that's not what the conciliar documents are arguing. They're instead arguing that essentially it's appealing to something like invincible ignorance. It's appealing to something like Paul's speech from Acts of the Apostles on Mars Hill in Athens, where it talks about the pagans who have this inkling of the divine truth, even if they don't have the fullness of it, and that he preaches what he knows while they worship what they do not know. That's what's going on, and because there's that correspondence there, should be, then we can apply that to modern religion. Well, false religion. Oh yeah, no thanks. In here it says Nostra aetate, right up there. But in my little chat window, which I have open separately, it translated it to "in our age," which means but Latin for "in our age." So in my little chat window, it just says, it has the little translator symbol, and then it says "in our age" by your comment. I don't know why it did that, but anyway. But yeah, those are really the objection that the SSPX have. Again, I think that last one, the sort of pluralism objection, is purely based on a misunderstanding of the conciliar documents. That they read it in the same way that the extreme liberals within, the extreme liberals within the Catholic Church read it, like the German bishop type, in this pluralistic way, whereas the more traditionalist and even moderate wing of the more moderate Catholic voices will read it in continuity with the Church's history, with the historical doctrines of the Church. The question of religious freedom, again, if we disentangle two meanings of the term right, one being it would be right to do such and such, versus the other meaning of the term right, which is it would be wrong for someone to interfere with you doing such. If we disentangle those, it clears the whole situation right up. And by the way, a lot of traditionalist Catholics are hesitant to do that. Even doctrinal Orthodox Catholics who are in union with the Church are hesitant to do that. For example, there's a tweet from Brian Holdsworth. Like a lot of his stuff, great guy, Canadian, but Canadians are welcome here too. So certainly within the church as well. But he's I don't know, a shade more traditionalist than I am. He regularly attends Latin Mass. I think he has more kids than me somehow, which, good on him. He's not much older than me. Cheers, brother. In any case, he argued actually, you know what? I'm just going to pull it up. Let's just do this. I'm going to pull up the tweet so I don't lose it. Did a reply? Pull up mine. It was from a day or two. Thankfully, I don't tweet that much. Not on here so obsessively. Yeah, here we go. This was in response to a priest, where he's talking about the recent statement, quote, supporting our Muslim neighbors' right to worship, by Bishop. Oh gosh, what's his name? Bishop of New Mexico? I forget what. I can find it, but anyway. So Brian said, quote, the church has always allowed religious tolerance, but not religious freedom, as in a natural right to practice false worship. That's explicitly condemned magisterially, and Vatican II only says we should be free from coercion, which is a negative right, not a positive right to error. And I, of course, argue that those are exactly the same thing. The negative right to be free from coercion is the very same thing as the positive right to worship as one chooses. Those are identical. No way of distinguishing those. Them into. Yeah, you're also Canadian. Like I said, you're welcome here, Chris. Yeah. I actually forget where he's from specifically. I think he might be out west, Toronto, or west somewhere. One of those country provinces. Ottawa? No, not Ottawa. I think he might have grown up in Ottawa and moved west or something like that, if I remember right. Anyway, yeah, good guy otherwise, but I think that he's absolutely wrong on that, on trying to make that distinction between a positive right to do something and a negative right not to be interfered with while doing something. To say that you have the former but you have the latter but not the former, is to confuse what a right. All right, Grace asked a question. Oh yeah, no thanks. Said in general, would you say that SSPX rejects Vatican II, and that's the overarching reason? Yeah, largely. They reject the authority of a particular council. That's the big part. I mean, well, that's the sort of background issue. The actual issue at hand, the triggering event that led to them being excommunicated, was consecrating their own bishops, contrary to the will of the Pope. They directly disobeyed the Pope in a matter of religious observance. That's what got them excommunicated, to be perfectly clear. Now, how they can return from excommunication involves solemnly affirming the doctrinal authority of the documents. That is required for them to return to good standing in the faith. Here we go. Grace asks, let's say the schism that gave us the Eastern Catholic Church never happened. Would we then possibly never have the SSPX schism we're currently experiencing? Are you referring to not the Eastern Catholic Church, but the Eastern Orthodox Church, like the schism from the 11th century? Because if that's the case, that goes back a little far for me to speculate. A lot would have to diverge at that. And if you ask certain Orthodox, particularly the Orthodox who are particularly anti-Catholic, online convertodox people, like Jay Dyer is a great example of this. He argues that the Protestant Reformation wouldn't have happened if not for the Great Schism. So maybe, but that's I don't know. That gets way too deep into alternate history for me to really be able. Sorry to punt on the question. It's good. It's a good and interesting question, but I think it goes too deep. Let's see. No thanks is not being interfered with is the more general form. Being able to worship what you want is more specific positive versions. No, it's the same thing, right? What does you're allowed to worship as you choose? How is that ever any different from saying I won't interfere with you worshiping how you choose? Same thing. That's what allowed just that you cannot distinguish the two. At least not. You can't distinguish the two legally, even if maybe you can distinguish the two in terms of human action or decision theory. But you certainly cannot distinguish the two in terms of legal theory, practice of justice. Okay. Oh, I need to turn on my controller. Sorry, I've been talking to you guys too much. All right. Meet with a concerned wealthy citizen.
As someone whose home has overlooked the resplendent Bower Lake, I am pleased to declare the official protection of this natural wonder. May its water drown anyone who doesn't appreciate its beauty.
Why you gotta be weird about it, man? Alright, I still have 1,000,000 gold more than I need.
The court was not too dull today.
So we're not too bad.
In any case, I'm confident your final task will be most enjoyable. A loyal and wealthy member of our community has offered to make a sizable donation to our treasury. Her only request is that you go to Millfields to make the collection in person. A perfect chance to stretch your legs, Your Majesty.
This is going to be an assassination. Ready for it. This sounds fun. Let me.
I'm at your command.
Hey there, Your Majesty. Attention.
Let me try and make something like what could be a distinction. How about this? See what you think. Because again, I don't think that there is a distinction to be made exactly, but let's see what we can do. I'm gonna make something like the Lockean distinction. Locke did believe in non-interference for any religious practices that did not violate universal tenets of natural law as he understood. So, murder and stuff. Violations of property right, essentially. Fine. Yeah, I almost. Sorry, man. But also didn't think that there were three groups he didn't think should be tolerated within society. Shouldn't toleration.
Greetings, Your Majesty.
Really are quite wonderful.
Excuse me. That was atheists. He didn't think we should tolerate a secular society could tolerate atheists. Funny enough. Muslims, as you pointed out, and Catholics. Those were essentially the three groups that Locke thought should not be tolerated. But what he meant by that is not that they should be forced to convert or anything like that, but that they just should not get full legal privileges. They should not be able to contribute to the Commonwealth. They shouldn't be considered citizens, essentially. That'll work. But yeah, Locke did not think that Catholics should be tolerated. The main reason, of course, being that they held something other than the secular state to be a higher authority. That being, of course, at least as he understood it. Who is throwing bombs at me? Was it him? Okay, anyway. No thanks, I used to be an atheist and I was born Catholic. Not recommending you do this, but all it would take is for you to convert to Islam, or revert, as they say, and you'd be like John Locke's enemy number one. Anyway, sorry. But anyway, the reason that that Catholics and Muslims, particularly, were not to be tolerated in secular society for John Locke was that both, as he understood them, had authority structures, which were legal authority structures, which were outside of and therefore contrary to a outside and therefore contrary to a secular government. Which I agree with. I think that's actually correct about both. That's referring to Sharia and canon law, basically. Though, of course, those are kind of radically different, but not in the way that matters to John Locke. Both provide alternative frameworks to the secular nation-state. Catholic Church is above the Bible itself, right? No. The Bible is part of the Church's authority. This is actually something that is often misunderstood about the, how the Church understands her authority. The Church cannot... This is actually something that the SSPX gets right. The Church can't change doctrine. That's impossible.
Look, I know where
If a doctrine is in place,
Madam, I understand.
the Church does not have the authority to overrule that. That goes for Scripture as well. It does have the authority to clarify what it means. It has the authority to add new revelation, even in some sense, right? That's
I was talking about me.
not in the same sense that that Mormonism or Jehovah's Witnesses do, but the flowering of existing revelation, new elements of revelation are already. It can't change doctrine in the sense that it cannot overrule anything that's already been revealed. It does not have even the absolute authority of the Pope does not have the capacity to overrule anything that a past Pope has declared or defined. Because if it's infallible, it's infallible. It's not like you can change that. And the same would obviously go for Scripture, right? The Church can't just say, hey, I don't know, the Book of Elijah ends at book 36, for example. Not that anyone argues for that, but if the Pope came out tomorrow and said that, he would be declaring heresy. He would not be acting as Pope. He has no authority to do so. To, like, yank out half a book of Scripture, or to say, like, the prophet Jeremiah was not inspired. Something like that. Or St. Paul's letter to the Hebrews, because it was probably not written by St. Paul, is not part of sacred Scripture, not part of the New Testament. Like, the Church can't do that. Can the Church say Jews didn't kill Jesus? No, but kind of. What I mean by that is, the Church can't say that it is false that the Jews killed Jesus. But the Church can say that it is not the only true thing about the crucifixion, or about the murder of our Lord, that the Jews did it. Right? Because the Church can clarify beyond that, to say that, well, yes, Jews are responsible for the death of Jesus, at least in one important sense. That the people rejected, his people rejected him when he came to them, just as that we had rejected the prophets as well. But also, it's important to note that the Romans killed Jesus. Also important to note that our sins nailed our Lord to the cross. Right? So in that very important sense, I killed Jesus. So there's different senses of what's going on in Scripture. And to say that we should keep in mind that this is not the only point of emphasis, that's illicit. I assume you're pointing to Nostra Aetate as well. Because Nostra Aetate clarifies that there is not a that the Jewish people do not have a unique role in the death of our Lord, which is correct, right? When it says when Matthew, head cold bothering me. When the gospel says that Jesus was crucified by the Jews, or that, and talks about Pilate washing his hands of it and all that. That isn't to say that Pilate had no real responsibility, or that we don't, or that else didn't. It's actually theologically important that all of humanity is collectively responsible and individually responsible for the crucifixion of.
Hail to thee, beloved Majesty.
Yeah, the official position is Nostra Aetate changed nothing, but clarified. It clarified for emphasis. There are actually no solemn pronouncements.
It's such an honor to have you here. If only fate hadn't conspired to make me look like a fool.
No new heresies were
to make a
condemned.
contribution to
No
the
new
noble
doctrines
cause.
proclaimed.
What's the use of a priceless heirloom if we're all going to perish in who knows what frightful way? I had taken the statuette out of the family vault, ready for your visit, only for a common thief to take it in broad daylight.
This isn't what I thought.
Can you believe it, Your Majesty? The thief ran into the woods, and naturally the soldiers are too scared to follow. Why must the uneducated be so superstitious? But you know no such fear, do you? Find the villain, Your Majesty. He has stolen more than a statue. He takes with him the future of our kingdom.
All right, then, let's do it. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to think that
Beware the
Vatican II
woods, Your
did
Majesty.
make solemn
The
proclamations,
soldiers
but
may be superstitious, but
if you pay
there's
careful
no
attention, there were
denying
no
dangerous beasts
we
lurk within.
declare and
Good
define
luck.
statements,
I know
or
you
let
will
him be anathema
succeed.
statements. Which, I have to say, kind of so much the worse. This is actually a fair criticism of the modern church, let's say. The church after Trent, after the council. That there is this hesitation to make clear declarative statements of doctrine, and instead being largely pastoral. Alright, Pupper Doggo, lead on. Yeah, the vow of adherence to Vatican II that they need to make is essentially that that they do not deny any, they do not reject the authority of the council, or say that, or claim that the council taught heresy. That's what they're claiming. That's the biggest problem.
Looking for the statue, Your Majesty. Follow the white Balverine.
What in the hell is going on? Treasure? Where? I want it. Yeah. Come on, buddy. Where the hell are you pointing? Fine, I'll follow the white Balverine. I see it. Go. I mean, yeah, they're all, you know, based and rad-pilled. And yeah, I do admire their adherence to tradition in a way, but only kind of, because they're also far too willing to just abandon the traditional authority structure of the church. And that's its own sort of problem. Support for the SSPX tends to be a preference for aesthetics over genuine nerd. Fortunately.
Right, you monster. Prepare to meet your... Oh, I'm so sorry. For a moment there, I thought you were a Balverine. Damn things are always trying to get through our defenses. We burn silver nitrate in those lamps to keep them out. Kills them pretty quick if they hang around for too long. If a lamp goes out, well, I don't like to think what might happen then. One went out just recently, but we got it lit again fast. The man responsible, this bloke Connor, got punished. Severely. Before he disappears into the forest, he tells us there's gonna be a reckoning. He's probably in 25 different stomachs right now. That's my reckoning. You can come on out, everyone. It's safe.
I haven't read Vatican II recently. I've read a couple of the documents recently, sort of in response to this whole thing, the relevant ones. Nostra Aetate I reread, and the one on the liturgy, again, I can't remember the title.
To let you hit him is a pair of boxing gloves.
You aware it was written by a gay Jew. A draft of part of it was written by a
the idea behind
guess you'd call him gay.
is twofold.
He wound up later identifying as gay and a former Jew.
Hands and to minimize injury to the opponent. At least that's what you should tell your mum when you ask her to buy them for you. She'll think you sound very mature. Now be sure to use that word twofold as well.
That is overblown. Nostra Aetate at least.
The real point of boxing gloves is they allow you to hide large, heavy metal weights, which will really knock your opponent's lights out. That'll teach him.
So I will say that there is that concern of subversive influence on the church. I do share that concern, certainly. I tend to think that the subversion comes more from,
I hear the academy's going to be free.
I don't know, broadly, communists, broadly speaking, that sort, rather than Jews. For example, it's hard to blame Jews for liberation theology. And I do think that liberation theology is a big problem in the church and stuff. But that, again, that's not really pinnable on the Jews. It is certainly pinnable upon communism. And again, you can point to some of that influence in some of the deliberations of the Second Vatican Council. A great example of this is Paul VI called what we would call a synod. I don't know if it was actually called a synod, but it was a meeting to discuss the church's doctrine around primarily contraception, more broadly around sexual ethics. And they came to all sorts of heretical conclusions. But Paul VI, when he wrote his encyclical, why can't I remember any of these document titles? I should know this one. When he wrote his encyclical on the subject, it will come to me, he basically denounced everything that they said exactly the opposite in the strongest possible terms. And it is, to this day, one of the best writings on sexual ethics. I'll write on it. I'll link to it. But I'll link to it after the stream. It's absolutely worth reading. This was not during the council. This was, I believe, shortly after. But it was in that same milieu. And it was the same kind of problem. And yeah, some of these are bishops. There are bishops who are corrupt. That's the thing. I mean, for example, there were one of the first 12 bishops notoriously betrayed Christ to his death. So bishops can be corrupt. That is a thing that can happen. They can be heretical. They can do their darndest to destroy the church, and even to kill God. But God wins. Hell shall not prevail. Yeah, basically. That's basically got the story.
Your
What
Majesty,
in the hell?
I've been expecting you. Been through the village, have you? Charming hamlet. It's full of warm, wonderful people who'll give you the shirt off their back and condemn you to death for one simple mistake.
For what?
Anyone can
Becoming a
fall
Valkyrie.
asleep on watch. You exile him into this forest and call it justice? But enough about that. You're here for that statue. It's quite a remarkable thing. It did everything the legend said it would. And now I don't need it anymore. It's funny how things change. So if you want to take it back to that prig in Millfields, it's yours. Nearly free of charge. All I ask is a small favor. Destroy those silver nitrate lanterns. Then the village will get a taste of justice. The choice is yours. And it's a simple one. How simple? If you decline, my brothers will kill you.
What in the hell are you talking about? No!
Ah, well. I suppose it was too much to
Did it kill the king?
Still, your choice won't save the village. Now that I'm the leader of the pack, we've got some brains to go with our brawn. We'll lose a few of the weaker members, but we'll deal with those lanterns on our own. In the meantime,
yes, you do absolutely need to accept the authority of all of the ecumenical faiths in order to be Catholic. Yes, that does include Vatican II. Even if Vatican II was what is usually referred to as a teaching council rather than a dogmatic council. In that it did not declare new dogma, it is still... Let's jig up some pressure first, real quick. On the way. It is still an ecumenical council, and it still carries with it the solemn magisterial authority of... pretty well. What do you think about the idea that SSPX is based, the Church itself, or the splinters? That's ex hypothesis impossible. They might be based by some definitions of the term, like...
Hello, Your Majesty.
Like that they are, I don't know what to say, they're solid on certain moral doctrines, especially. But they're absolutely not based in the sense that they are, the true church, or holding on to the remnant of the true church. You're going to try and kill the king.
Prepare yourself for death.
Are you insane? Like, even if you succeed, why you're doing this? Interesting that he has control over his transformation. Actually, quite nice. 5 Alvarez versus yours. Come on, buddy. Bring it up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You've saved us from certain destruction. We're in your debt. You'll always be welcome here, should you wish to return. Connor had this on him. It looks like a Belverine. It's yours if you want it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh no.
The Academy is open and better than ever.
Statue of a white ballerine.
I'm in the
Great
market
pair
for a
of
cleaver.
trousers.
You can fight off bandits and prepare a stew, all with the same weapon.
See, that's the thing, is that if the SSPX claimed to be in alignment with the church, but that they were rejected by the church, let me put it this way, if they acknowledge the authority of the Pope, which they claim not to be sedevacanta. They don't think that Leo is an anti-pope. They claim to acknowledge his authority. That means they de facto acknowledge his authority to excommunicate them, justly or not. Like, even if they think that he's wrong to excommunicate, then if they claim that he is the legitimate pope, then they are forced to acknowledge that they are in fact excommunicated and need to recant and repent in order to rejoin the church. Or they're being irrational, which is also possible. People's beliefs are not closed under entailment. I say this a lot, but I'm disappointed by it, but it is. Now they could just deny that Leo is the Pope. But in that case, then they're just sedevacantists. They're just another group of people denying that the Catholic Church is the one true church that was founded by Christ. Now, there are people like that. There's plenty of sedevacantists out there who deny the legitimacy of the current papacy. But the SSPX have never done that.
Did you find the thief?
They've never done that.
The statue? You found it? Oh, I can barely
Don't
contain
obviously.
my tears. Oh, excuse me, Your Majesty. I can't let you see me this way. And please, make good use of it.
Well, it's donated to the treasure abbot.
Nobles, always so melodramatic. As for this little item, it is every bit as valuable as I hoped it would be. The profit shall make a welcome addition to the treasury. Unless, of course, well, it is your statue now. You could always opt to keep the proceeds for yourself and administer them as you see fit. What do you wish to do, my king?
Donate, obviously. That they should accept being apostate. No, if they're to be consistent, they should submit and repent and return to the church. That's the only logical course of action. If they accept the authority of the church and they accept the authority of Pope Leo, the only logical course of action in response to that is to admit their error and return to union with the church through the terms laid out by the church. Now, had they not gone the route of appointing new bishops, wouldn't have had to do this. They could have reunited with the church without having to make these proclamations, but they didn't. They pushed it too far, and they get pushed back.
A magnanimous gesture indeed. Your subjects are lucky to be ruled by one.
Yeah, the only other alternative is to accept not being Catholics. Is to just admit that they're not part of the church, and to admit that or to claim that the church itself is no longer authoritative, or something like that. But then they lose a lot of their legitimacy, their apparent legitimacy.
Maybe one day I can be as great as you.
They're Protestants now. They are. I mean, in a sense, they are. They're hierarchically or ecclesiastically Protestant, albeit not doctrinally.
Your silly autograph anyway. I don't want your...
Yippee! Not only did you save an entire village from Balverines, your generosity has brought the people of Albion one step closer to safety.
Autograph anymore.
Right. Sweet. Alright, I've got over 1.5 million excess funds. I think we're good.
With the fatidic attack not far away now, it fills one's heart with confidence and supreme satisfaction to see the treasury filled to the brim. I have taken to sleeping beneath the gold and can report nothing but restful nights.
That is
As
a
for
good
today's
analogy.
first order of business,
No thanks.
you may have heard about the dire
Being moved to the
situation
banquet.
the kingdom's economy finds itself in. Logan's policies always kept our cities on the edge of bankruptcy, and the panic caused by the fast-approaching darkness has only exacerbated the situation. I'm afraid the only way to stop this slide into ruin is to bail out Bowerstone's financial institutions. The
Not
people
this.
are looking at you to save them from economic disaster. But remember that doing so may condemn them to a much darker and bloodier fate. What shall we do, Your Majesty?
Fascinating that this game, if I'm not mistaken, seems to be implying that George W. Bush was the good guy in a situation like this. I mean, realistically, what we should do is let the economy collapse for... Okay. The good decision, actual morally good decision, is X, is to let the economy because an adjustment like this is... Well, actually, hold on.
People in Albion always take. Perhaps it would be kinder to refuse them this time.
I mean, yes, but hold on. What is the economy based upon here? This is only... Okay, my understanding of the problem here relies upon a lot of modern economic assumptions. So, interesting. So, hold on. I was about to say that letting the economy fail would be the do here. Because it would be a necessary adjustment to purge malinvestment, to get the economy
If we do
back
nothing, there will
in the
be
least,
widespread
without
suffering,
trying
particularly
to,
on the poorer sectors of the population.
without further distortions in the
I
opposite
imagine
direction.
most of them will
So,
live
for example,
through it.
without, say, inflating the housing bubble to replace the dot-com bubble. Common issue in the early 2000s. Bush. But the interesting point here, right, is that presumably this is not a fiat and fractional reserve based economy. And so presumably there is not a business cycle as we understand it. That is
Does it
caused
really
by
matter if people starve because they can no
central bank
longer
interventions
afford
and
to
things like
buy
that,
food?
which presumably is
Surely
not
the
present
gold
here.
serves a greater purpose
So this
in
really
here
is
than out
a
there.
crisis caused by people being afraid of what is coming, which is a legitimate fear. And so maybe the bailout is justified in a case like this. In a I don't know if I would say pre-modern, but in an early modern, in a certainly a pre-monetary policy economy. Economic history actually comes into play here. Fascinating.
Does it really matter if people starve because they can no longer afford
Christ,
to
good
buy
question.
food?
Sleeping beneath the gold, would that
Surely
mean
the
you
gold
die
serves a
from the weight of it
greater
on top of you?
purpose in here
Possibly.
than
Depends on
out
how the weight
there.
is distributed and how much is there. You might, under that much gold, you probably would. I'm actually curious as to what the pounds per square inch would be left at the bottom of that pile. Assuming that it is, 500,000 coins, ounces. Is 8. Christ, that's a lot.
If we do nothing, there will be widespread suffering, particularly
Yeah,
on
see,
the
again,
poorer
I don't think that
sectors of the population.
the libertarian answer here
Still, I
is to
imagine
let it go.
most of them
Because again,
will
what we're
live
working
through
with
it.
is a feudal economic system. Because what we have here, this, is essentially the personal wealth of the king that he is dedicating to the defense of the kingdom. Me being king. And this is, strictly speaking, an act of charity. The question, of course, is whether this act of charity would be genuinely helpful or not. Under our present circumstances, or our present economic circumstances, within the current system, it would not be. It would be a distortion in the opposite direction. But I think,
People in
an economic system like this, I think that this actually could just be a genuinely beneficial act of charity. A big one, it's 500,000 gold worth, but still. Yeah, I don't think it's mercantilist. I don't think it's quite mercantilist. I do think it is still closer to feudal, which is sort of anachronistic for the time period they're going for, because this is clearly a sort of industrial revolution type of system, which was somewhere in between mercantilist and early proto-capitalism. But this is very much at least the way I'm playing the game, this is very much a feudal economic arrangement.
If we do nothing, there will be widespread suffering, particularly on the poorer sectors of the population. Still, I imagine most of them will live.
The comic arts haven't been invented yet. Which brings me to my other point. I want to talk about this while our annoying little sycophant is yapping. Grace says, most certainly the amount in the treasury would absolutely kill you from both smothering, that is a good point, and crushing you from the sheer weight of it on top of you. Probably. But again, I think it would depend on how it's distributed. If it's laid out this much, you're in the center of it, it wouldn't be comfortable, but you might survive. I don't know. Again, I do think
Does
that,
it really matter if people
the contribution
starve
would be the
because they
ethical
can
thing. Anyway,
no
okay,
longer
hold
afford
on.
to buy
My
food?
point, that the other thing I wanted to
Surely
talk
the
about tonight,
gold serves
and it's
a
already almost
greater
11, so I want to actually
purpose
yap
in
about
here
this. It's a
than
fascinating
out
topic.
there.
Is this fantasy trope that I actually love, which is referred to as medieval stasis. This is something I kind of want to do a podcast episode. I don't want to go too much depth on it. But it's something that this game purposely avoids. Right? Medieval stasis is the fantasy trope where, in a fantastical setting, technology in all its forms is largely static over long timescales. And I mean, technology, both mechanical technology, as well as social technology. That social systems are largely the same. Monetary systems are largely the same. Mechanical systems are largely the same over the course of hundreds or perhaps even thousands of years. The perfect example of this is The Lord of the Rings, where you can, in fact, find artifacts in the Third Age, right? Time of the novels. You can find artifacts of the First Age, which is, tens of thousands of years ago, which are on par technologically with what is used today, if not superior. That society has changed precious little over tens of thousands of years. And this is what makes a fantasy setting mythological. It feels mythological rather than realistic. Right? Genuine medieval fantasy worked like this as well. Stories from the Middle Ages assumed a kind of technological stasis over hundreds or thousands of years, which is why you see medieval depictions of the time of Christ, or the early martyrs, or even the Old Testament,
Does it really
kingdom and wars and the Exodus and things like this,
food?
depicted using the fashions and technology of the time it was written. So medieval, like usually high medieval technology and fashions, rather than trying to figure out, what Roman armor would they be using? What were the ancient Israelites using, or something like that? None of that mattered. It was mythological, so it was assumed to be. Everyone knew this was false, but it was assumed to be the same thing forever. Because in reality, the myth of I pick up my great-grandfather's sword, right? That is absurd, and would have been absurd at any point throughout almost all of history, certainly throughout the Middle Ages. Right? If you lived in, say, the 13th century, you may have, if you wanted to use a sword or a sword-like weapon on the battlefield, you would have to either use an arming sword and a shield, or maybe, if you had sufficient armor, a longsword. Realistically, you'd probably use a main weapon, something like a polearm or something like Warhammer, back to Corban, something like that. But, if you're going to use a sword,
there will be widespread
it would be an
suffering,
advanced
particularly
spring
on the
steel
poorer sectors of the
arming sword
population.
or longsword.
Still, I imagine most of
Even
them
as
will live
early as the 13th century, that would be what you'd be using. But if you picked up your great-grandfather's sword to use, even if it was in perfect condition, it would not be spring steel. It would not be a longsword. It would probably not even be an arming sword. It would be weighted improperly. It would be of poor quality compared to modern technology. Like, technology changed throughout the centuries, even in the Middle Ages, a lot. We don't think of this because they didn't think like that.
Always take.
Right, technologically, it was mythologically, I guess. The technology was just irrelevant. So everything was imagined as it was today, forever. My other favorite example of medieval stasis in mythological storytelling is Star Wars. Right? Sure, there are technological developments and changes, but they're minor. They don't make much of a difference. There are precious few significant technological developments in the 20,000 years of recorded Star Wars history.
People starve because they can no longer afford
There are minor, marginal improvements. Certain technologies, like lightsabers, don't require a battery pack on your belt anymore. Turbo lasers can shoot farther. Shields are more efficient by X%. Hyperdrives are X%, or maybe even a couple orders of magnitude faster. But it's still using a hyperdrive. It's still using blasters. There's still shielding. Lightsabers are still lightsabers. They still deflect blaster bolts. Blaster bolts are still blaster bolts. This is the same thing for 20,000 years of recorded galactic history since the dawn of the Republic, Old Republic.
If we do nothing, there will be widespread
that allows for mythological storytelling. A student of Luke Skywalker can pick up a lightsaber that was built 10,000 years ago. Maybe slap a new power pack in it, but use it perfectly. That is how fantasy storytelling does its job. And I think that this game is so much the worse, not this game, but this setting is so much the worse for ignoring that and trying to be mythological while also developing technology across the games. The first game was a high medieval fantasy setting.
Does it really
the second and third
matter
games
if people starve because they can
absolutely
no
not.
longer afford to buy food?
They are early
Surely
modern.
the gold
There are
serves a
firearms.
greater purpose
There's steam.
in here than
There
out
is
there.
there's industry. It is a well-developed technological civilization that advanced as you would expect it to if you're looking at real history. Another example that I think does this poorly, unfortunately, as much as I love the series so much, it unfortunately does this poorly, and unfortunately there was no way of avoiding this. Avatar. Avatar: The Last Airbender very clearly depicts an industrial revolution in the Fire Nation in the original series. You can't write around that. You can't really avoid that.
Does it really
if you're writing
matter
future
if people
stories.
starve because they can no longer afford to
On the
buy
other hand,
food? Surely the gold serves a greater
over the
purpose
past,
in here than out there.
several thousand years, there were precious few changes to society, technology, anything like that in the Avatar world. It just very suddenly, bang, industrial revolution happens in the Fire Nation. And so now it's tempting to treat the whole thing as if it is a gradually changing technological world. So much the worse for the setting, unfortunately. Honestly, if they were going to make Avatar stories, you should do what the novels did and go back in time, rather than doing what the shows have been doing, forward in time. Because forward in time is far less interesting.
People in Albion always take. Perhaps it would be kinder to refuse them this time.
No thanks brings up, if you're a member of a noble family, you might be able to use your great-grandfather's sword. No, you'd have to reforge your great-grandfather's sword. That's something people did. A great example of this is Joyo. Joyo is the sword of Charlemagne in a museum. And it is a 16th century saber. 17th? 16th, 17th century saber? Because that's the last time it was essentially like an early modern musketeer cavalry saber.
Sectors of the population.
in its current form. It is absolutely not what it was when Charlemagne wielded it. When Charlemagne wielded it, it was almost certainly a one-handed, probably something equivalent to a Viking sword or a it's called side sword, maybe. One of those very choppy single-hand broad blade. What's usually referred to in modern texts as a... No, you can't just sharpen it. The metallurgy is different. The metallurgy, the balancing, the shape of the blade is radically different from the latest technology.
Does it really matter if people starve?
Which is again why, like,
afford to buy food?
Charlemagne's sword is a perfect example of this because it was reforged so many times throughout history. It's not even the same weapon.
Than out there.
And again, let's get through this so we don't have to hear tapping.
You are such a giving, magnanimous person.
Oh yes.
Very well, I will make the arrangements. Life will be easier for your subjects for a while, but the treasury will not easily recover. I only hope we haven't thrown away our chances of survival.
We're fine.
Of course, you could always replenish our gold supplies by donating from your personal funds.
Yeah, if I need to.
Shall we proceed with today's agenda?
Yes. Military outpost, Mist Peak, an army. Yeah, no thanks points out, it'd be different. I have a sword from the Civil War and it can still kill people. But would you use it on the battlefield? That's the difference. Suppose you had a great-grandfather who fought in World War I. If you enlisted in the army now, and assuming you were, for some reason, permitted to bring your own weapons, would it be reasonable to bring his M1 Garand to fight in, I don't know, wherever we're planning on fighting next? Iran, maybe? No. No, that's absurd. It's comically absurd. Sure, a sword from the Civil War can still kill somebody, but it's obsolete. That's the point. Now, maybe you carry it. Maybe you use it. Maybe you carry it mostly for sentimental value. You might have it as a sidearm just in case. Maybe you'd even get a chance to use it. Maybe that happened. Right? Maybe somebody would carry their great-grandfather's sword, or maybe more likely their great-grandfather's dagger. That's maybe more likely. That technology didn't change as rapidly. Right? But to use it as your main battlefield weapon would be putting yourself at such a tremendous disadvantage that especially somebody who could afford new equipment would absolutely never. I would never use my great-grandfather's iPhone either. You see the point. Well, that's the thing, like... Sure. Okay, the medieval mentality went something like this. Yes, my great-grandfather's sword is obsolete, but it still works. It doesn't work nearly as well as a new sword would. However, I want to respect the family lineage that this represents. So what I will do is I will get my blacksmith, my swordsmith, to reforge this sword into the latest technology and to remake it so that it will be both my great-grandfather's sword and competently useful on a modern battlefield. Now, we balk at that today because our mythology involves constant technological progress and change. Like, it would kind of disgust, especially, like, think about a gun collector, right? If you wanted to, say, reforge your great-grandfather's M1 into a modern, say, AR platform, and you just used, say, the wood furniture, and you reshaped it and put modern components into it, a lot of gun collectors would say, "Good God, what have you done, you fud? You've destroyed this antique gun by trying to reforge it." Well, yeah, you have, but no, you've honored its legacy by updating it to a modern standard. That represents the radical difference in mentality between the medieval and I would say mythological frame, where sure, this thing is ancient and therefore it is good, but we're also going to update it. It's to be updated, you know? Whereas the modern frame says, no, this ancient thing, this old thing is old. It's out of date. It's not useful. But we should keep it for sentimental value, for history. And the technology is part of the history, rather than the events being part of the history, which is what medievals thought more so. Ukraine landed a ground drone delivered by a flying drone behind enemy line. I did not actually see that. All right, let's do.
Kalin, the representative for the Auroran people, has requested an audience with you. The court awaits in the throne room.
All right, let's go for it. Let's do some of these. Gifts, and I want to see.
Ah, hello.
Hello. Potion, nice. A ruby, nice.
That appears to be all of the gifts.
Oh, I don't. Actually, yeah, I do want to visit the road rule. I can upgrade my gun. Yeah, buddy. Maximally upgraded my gun. There we go. Is there a maximum charge? Waiting for it to stop vibrating. I guess not. Okay. Up we go! Oh yeah, the Kitsugi. The thing where you repair a broken vase by putting gold, repairing it with gold. Makes it look not new, but repaired beautifully. Yeah.
Long live the king.
There's an element to that. Anyway, though, I think the difference, right? The big difference I would say is that say
I'm at your command.
the
Greetings, sir.
the mythological version, the view of things,
If I give
the
you
medieval
this,
stasis
will
in
you do
fantasy,
something for me?
is it
Great ruler. Hello.
it emphasizes
Hello, my
For king and
lord.
country.
emphasizes the permanent things about society and human nature
Everything all right, Your Majesty?
as distinct from something that's more grounded or even more sci-fi, which is more about the changes in society and the changes in technology
At your service.
and how we cope with those changes, which I do think that this is largely about, this game. Which is interesting. Because I do think that Fable 1 is absolutely fantasy. I almost want to call Fable 3 something closer to science fiction. Sure, there are absolutely fantastical elements to it. Maybe even more than
At your command.
anything else. But a lot of it is about dealing with these changes in technology and in society. How do we deal with those changes? Now, sure, it has fantastical elements as well, right? Magic and all that. It also has fantastical elements in terms of its narrative structure of the hero's journey and the return of the king. Both of those are crucially important and are really common to fantasy. But still, I think that there's something to be said about interpreting this in a kind of more...
I trust you're well, sir.
I hesitate to say science fiction, but a more modern...
His Majesty, the King of
Really
Albion.
interesting. Really interesting.
Today you must decide how much protection to grant Aurora. Kaelin will offer her proposal. Riva will stand against her.
You may speak.
Your Majesty, as you know, the threat from the deserts that surrounds my city has not diminished. The darkness could fall upon us once more at any moment. Aurora is part of your kingdom now, and I ask that you grant us protection. Build a desert outpost that can warn my people should the crawler attack. It shall allow us to leave the city in time and ensure the survival of your loyal subjects.
A desert outpost? I've never heard such nonsense.
Really?
What shall we do next? Erect taverns under the sea? Plant crops on mountain peaks? It is a foolhardy suggestion. Why should our valiant soldiers suffer sunstroke and chapped lips in a distant land when they could be protecting the people of this very city? Is it really worth risking the lives of all the people outside these walls for a mere alarm system? Of course not. Let us leave the funds and the soldiers where they belong, right here.
The darkness poses a threat to us all. But Aurora has already suffered more than its fair share. The final decision rests with you, Your Majesty.
We should probably do this. Also, I don't know that we necessarily need to man it with men from here. Can be manned primarily by Aurorans.
I ask for nothing more than
but we ought to build it.
For your own
It will benefit
kingdom.
not just Aurora, but us as well. Well, you say homeland first, but
send them some
she's right. That we did sort of annex them.
Build sand castles if it
But
amuses
part
them.
of
We have
the homeland.
more important
That's
matters
the
to
downside
attend
of
to.
Empire. It's the downside of Empire. But they're not merely a province. They're annexed. Formally annexed. Fund Israel. No, but I mean, sure. I'm talking about more like when the British Empire funded. This would be a better analogy of when the British Empire funded the what do they call it?
I fail to
The
see
Palestinian.
how this outpost will do anything more than waste valuable resources. I
Because they certainly
to
did.
reject this
It went poorly. And I don't expect this will go all that well because there is a great evil in that desert. Just like, you know.
We have
Anyway.
lived in fear for far too
Yeah,
long. This outpost would give us peace of mind.
Aurora is under our protection. It is our duty to build this outpost.
Mandate, yes, thank you.
The King's decision is final. A military outpost shall be
British
erected
mandate,
in the
Palestine.
deserts that surround Aurora.
We shall not forget this gesture. Aurora thanks you.
Ah, you are a whimsical monarch, and that is why you are so beloved.
What?
Very well, it shall be done.
Okay, rule on Mist Peak.
Riva Industries is proud to present an exotic tale of romance, adventure, and sand. The Desert Outpost.
Bring forth Sabine of the Mist Peak Dwellers.
I shouldn't have done this yet, should I have? It's gonna put me through all three of
Today,
them, isn't
you
it?
decide on the fate of Mistpeak, home of the Dwellers, Your Majesty. Sabine will speak for his people and their land. Riva will dispute his cause.
You may speak. I come here seeking nothing but what was promised me and my people. You pledged to restore our home mountains and our right to dwell in them. We have fulfilled our end of the bargain.
First we're helping
Paid with
Israel,
our
now we're
lives to
helping the
sit you on that
gypsies.
throne. Now you must fulfill your end. Undo the damage your brother did to our land, and our agreement shall be satisfied.
Your Majesty, this sounds both an unnecessary expense
50,000,
and
that's actually not
impudent
much.
demand. What value is there in a few trees languishing amongst snow and rock? This is not the time to indulge some idyllic fantasy.
I also have
Those
property up there.
forests are a resource, and we are in dire need of resources. I propose we expand on your brother's initiative and take what nature offers so readily. Say the word, and I will transform the worthless wasteland of Mistpeak into assets we can use to defend Albion.
These hands are not yet so old or weak that I can't wring that pretty little neck of yours, Reaver.
The refined retort of a true mountain goat.
You made a promise to Sabine, but it's up to you whether you decide to honor it.
Well, yeah.
I will keep my promise to the Dwellers. The Mistpeak Mountains will be restored.
Mistpeak shall become a protected region, and the Dwellers shall be granted authority over its forests and resources.
You are true to your word and your honor. The Dwellers will stand by you till the end.
I mean, that one's actually pretty straightforward. It really is just a matter of, I made this agreement, and I'm gonna be wrong and dishonest to go against it. Simple as that.
The forests of Mistpeak are our greatest national treasure, and now, thanks to Reaver Industries, they have returned to their past splendor. Dwellers, birds, and bunnies are free to roam, laugh, and kill each other as nature intended. Who needs all that lumber anyway?
Jeez, dude. Return to Hobson. Okay.
At your service.
I think I am going to go check out that
It's our
desert
mighty
fort.
king. Hello.
At your service, my king.
Oh, a gift.
Your Majesty,
Hello,
please
my
accept
lord.
You
this
miss.
small token of my esteem.
Where did I get all this
Your
stuff?
special gift is still waiting for you to open it. Surely you have enough anticipation by this point.
Where did I get all
That
this
appear-
stuff? Check down in Aurora. Oh, missed it. Veiled pen. West here. I already own all of the shops here. It's evil, isn't it? Blackberry flowers. Okay. What about Britain's Hands? Is where the fortress is? Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, let's see. I want to check out this fortress. Here we go. Cool. Guys here.
Greetings, Your Majesty.
Yeah, let's not dance.
My king?
My guard. What is with this sheer, like, veil? It's not a privacy screen, clearly. Got something for me, Pepper Doggo? Where is it? Oh, right here. Good pointing. Oh, rug.
My lord?
Interesting. Why? What's with that? Don't get it. I also don't know if I'm going to actually do the next step, next stage, the next thing. Hey, wait.
At your command.
Next week.
I trust your well, sir. Majesty. Your Majesty.
And here. Munition. Like,
How are you, Your Majesty?
okay, well, nothing of too much use here.
At your
Suppose.
service.
Does let me out. I can just go. But let's go home. Repair. Oh, that's right. I think I have more gnomes. Killed more gnomes, so maybe I can ask this guy. I'm gonna wrap some of these things up before I wrap it up. I'm gonna buy these.
That's a good buy.
Service, my king.
I'm pleased to serve you. Well, that's a good buy. Hope you enjoy it.
Literally.
Yeah. Buy some meat.
Hope you enjoy it. Thank you for your custom. Thank you for your custom. You're
Life. Let's see what else on here.
I buy stuff. So come here and I'll buy your stuff, okay?
Yeah, sure. Sell some stuff. Love to sell some stuff. Sure.
I hope I can make a profit on that.
Hi, Dad. Oh, you're back.
Hey.
Happy to be of service. Your Majesty, I'm so chuffed
Oh,
with your
young
rule.
lass is
I've got a
always happy
present
with
for
you around. Ooh. Ah, it's our mighty
Your Majesty,
king.
I'm so
Hello.
chuffed with your
The
rule.
people all think
I've
you
got a
can do
present
no
for
wrong,
you.
don't they? The people all think you can do no wrong, don't they? Ah.
Hello?
Put you to Mary. Oh, the forced defends from the crawler, which is the evil force of darkness thingy that is set to invade the kingdom soon.
We're owned by a real adventurer.
So it is actually related
You know
to
our
the main
things are
quest.
good,
It
Eric.
is actually a useful thing to do. No kidding.
Hello. Your Majesty.
I have a gift for you, my lord.
Nice to see you, Your
Yes, sir. Greetings, Your Majesty.
Let's see. See about the gnome guy. See what he's got for us. If he has anything new.
Oh, life is agony with those gnomes, and yet at the same time I couldn't bear to lose them.
Got anything?
I hope my letter isn't worded so strongly that the company won't reply. Perhaps I should send an apology as well.
Okay. Not enough gnomes I've slaughtered. What a shame.
Buy your wares here.
All right, let's see. Let's see what the academy looks like now that it's open.
I haven't met anyone who doesn't like your son. This ought to be good.
Man with nice hat.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you are the best at this. Hey! Sir?
All right.
Your Majesty, may I present you with this?
You bet. Thank you.
Ah, brave hero. Escort us to mine castle over yonder.
Excuse me. Drunken public. Execution. Donate. Something new. Yippee!
Another book for the Academy. How wonderful.
Anything else more? Any of these? No? Okay, guess not. Alright, cool. Let's see what else.
You like this big, huge ice cream all sprinkled with cheese. Oh, I love cheese.
Okay. I think that should be about it. I don't think anything changed with the dwellers.
Welcome to the sanctuary.
Needs to be. Now, it does not appear as if anything changed, I think. That was my hunting lodge. Go and check that out, but again, I don't expect anything changed. I guess they're just sort of still permitted to stay here. All that changed. The only other thing I could do is the side quest of the mercenary camp. There's the shooting gallery I could do more of. That's about it, really. All right. Well, I think we're going to call it there for tonight. It's almost 11:30. I'm still under the weather a bit. I think I'm going to call it there. Thank you for joining me. We'll pick up here next time. We'll finish the next series of quests. I actually don't know how much more of the game there is. There is something like 120 days left until the big showdown. But I don't know what that'll amount to in terms of how long this game will take. So it is a mystery. You know as good as I do. So maybe better. So we'll see. I actually was honestly expecting this game to end like three sessions ago or something when we retook the throne, but surprise to me. Fascinating. It doesn't just do the Return of the King thing; it also does the how do we manage the kingdom question. Okay, I like that it does both, at least to some degree. Anyway, see you guys on Thursday for more Greedfall. We are doing some more companion quests for the most part. We've got some more archaeology or grave robbing. So that is what's coming up. So I will see you guys then. Keep an eye out for stupid little podcast stuff. I'm taking a break from doing some recording just because voice and head and everything. Like I said before, hopefully I'm working on scheduling an interview. I'm probably going to do an episode on medieval stasis. I might do some other stuff too. I have other plans coming up, but keep an eye out for it. It'll be popping up. Anyway, thank you for joining me.
Any other business to attend?
I had a wonderful time. I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful evening. There we go. And until next time, remember, don't be safe. Be well. More importantly, good. Good night, folks.